I guarantee every one of you has experienced rolling power outages in the past week due to this storm. Before this, I haven't really thought about where my electricity comes from. But like me, I'm sure these outages had made you think more about your electricity. Our electricity comes from fossil fuels. But what does that really look like? I'm here to discuss the positive and negative effects of fossil fuels alongside possibilities for the future. So why does this even matter? Well, while we may not think of it much, the majority of our modern day life would not be possible without fossil fuels. However, they are one of the leading contributors to climate change. Instead of starting by discussing ways the fossil fuels have harmed the environment, like you might expect, I would like to start with the benefits of fossil fuels to our everyday lives. Imagine we transported someone from 300 years ago at the start of the Industrial Revolution to today's world. What would he think about our environment? Without question, his reaction would be one of disbelief. Not that we had destroyed his pristine natural world, but that such a clean, natural world was possible. He might say, "The air is so clean. Where I come from, the air is filled with smoke from burning wood to stay warm. And everywhere I go, the water is so fresh and safe to drink. And everything looks so grand and beautiful. How is this possible?" he would say. According to Geoffrey Chow, the answer is energy, specifically energy from fossil fuels. Chow states fossil fuels have allowed us to transform our naturally hazardous environment into a far healthier environment. Most of our world is too hot, too cold, too much rain, or not enough. But we are able to conquer these environmental problems through fossil fuels. We've built cities and neighborhoods to protect us from the elements. We've made cars and planes to access all corners of the world. We've built roads, irrigated deserts, developed fertilizers and pesticides to keep us safe, linked oceans, all in humanity's incredibly successful effort to create a cleaner, safer, more habitable world. Where previous generations faced the risk of disease from simply drinking water that's often contaminated, we have clean water, thanks to man-made reservoirs, treatment plants, underground pipes, and indoor plumbing. Where previous generations faced large-scale death, whenever there was a severe freeze or heat wave, we can live in a comfortable climate year-round, thanks to insulated homes and modern high-end heating and air conditioning. And the list goes on. And all of it was possible by machines that are powered by cheap, plentiful, reliable energy from fossil fuels. However, the use of fossil fuels for the benefit of humanity does not come without risk and negative effects to the natural world. Which brings me to my next point, the negative impact of fossil fuels on the natural environment. The Earth has a natural greenhouse effect that keeps the Earth warm, that allows life to exist. The burning of fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. But how does this affect the natural Earth? Well, fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas, which are remains of living things from millions of years ago, are mainly composed of carbon. According to Patrick Brown, if you collect all the exhaust gases from a car and compare them to the fuel burned, you'll see that they weigh much more than the fuel that was burned. This is due to gasoline molecules combining with 6 oxygen molecules to create water vapor and carbon dioxide. Before the world became industrialized by burning fossil fuels and carbon dioxide, the carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere was about 0.28%, minuscule compared to oxygen at 21% and nitrogen at 78%, but it was enough to keep us warm through the greenhouse effect. The burning of fossil fuels adds to the existing carbon concentration, causing it to nearly double since the pre-industrial times. The increased amount of CO2 in the atmosphere exaggerated the greenhouse effect, causing the global temperature to rise. This has a multitude of negative effects on Earth. The increased temperatures slowly cause ice caps and glaciers to melt, causing sea levels to rise and desalination of the ocean. In addition, weather becomes more extreme, so there are more floods, droughts, and storms. But humanity must have a plan to fix this, right? This leads me to my next point, possibilities for the future. How can we stop and even reverse the effects of our carbon footprint? According to Bjorn Lomborg, the solution is to decarbonize. America currently doesn't emit the most carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, but as one of the oldest industrial powers, we have emitted the most over the course of time. So we have a large role to play in the global decarbonization effort. But how is the US supposed to do that? Like it or not, Joe Biden was recently elected into office, and this comes with his climate policy. Included in this plan is for America to completely decarbonize its economy by 2050. While his plan doesn't discuss logistics of how he plans to do that, there are many people such as Bjorn Lomborg who have thought about what it would look like to decarbonize by 2050. Lomborg states that the majority of carbon emissions from fossil fuels is in the creation of electricity and petroleum usage in transportation. The first step would be to stop getting energy from natural gas and coal and replace it with decarbonized energy sources. This means all natural gas plants gone, all coal plants gone. All electricity would come from renewable sources such as biomass, geothermal, solar, hydroelectric, wind, and nuclear power. This would be a tremendous effort and would only solve about 20% of the problem. This is because the majority of emissions come from the burning of petroleum for transportation. There is an elegant solution to this though. You decarbonize by switching all energy source from fossil fuels to electricity. We have the technology to do this, and it has already begun through companies such as Tesla with their electric cars and Amazon transitioning to electric fleet through companies such as Rivian. There are things that would be difficult to decarbonize though, such as air travel, which would require further advancements in technology. In addition, materials such as concrete and steel are difficult to manufacture without fossil fuels. But if we do everything we can significantly reduce the carbon emissions and slow the intensified greenhouse effect, in turn, leading to decreased global temperatures. The use of fossil fuels has without a doubt increased the quality of life for humans, but at the cost of the natural world. But as we look to the future, we can be hopeful that we will have the best of both worlds. Imagine what the world would look like, for better or for worse, without fossil fuels. Thank you.